exempted. You are exempted from publication as well. It is not.
Hello? Yeah, good morning. How are you? I'm fine. I've been seeing you post this thing, this tax ID thing on your status, and I was wondering if I could just get my own done. How much is it? I beg you didn't post the price. 20K? How about now? I beg, please. As my friend, let me just pay 15. I beg, please.
Sorry, please.
Eh?
Sorry.
Yes, sorry, yes.
You're paying
Sorry, please let me
20,000.
call you back.
You're paying 20,000 for what?
Oh, I'm trying to get my tax ID. You know this tax identification number thing that they said we should do. So I'm trying
Is
to
that
get
why
it
somebody
done.
is collecting 20,000 for?
Yes, it's my friend. He said it's 20,000 naira. So I'm
You
trying
don't
to.
need to pay any money to get a tax ID.
This podcast is suitable for students between the ages of 16 to 25. If you're interested in self-improvement, productivity, study tips, this is the podcast for you.
Welcome to the Sweet and Sour Podcast.
My name is Abdulmumuni Hiqmat. I'm a student just like you. I'm passionate about personal development and productivity. So, if this is your first time listening to this amazing voice, don't make it your last. If not, sweetie, you know how we roll now.
Let me hear you say H to the I to the Q, to the M to the A and the T. H to the I to the Q, to the M to the A and the T. H to the I to the Q, to the M to the A and the T.
Okay, my name is Ate Solomon. I'm a lawyer specializing in taxation, and I was the research assistant and analyst with the Presidential Fiscal Policy on Tax Reform Committee.
Oh, really?
And
I'm Ismail Shafi. I recently graduated from Uni Abuja from Faculty of Law, and I serve as tax club president while in Uni Abuja.
Oh, wow. I literally I have so many questions, and I don't know if you guys have the time to answer some of my questions, because this tax thing it's just it's everywhere, and sometimes we don't even know which information is correct. But since you guys are tax consultant, I think it would be nice to hear from you. Please, do you have 10 minutes to spare?
no problem, we are here.
Okay, so my first question, please, is if I got your name right, you say you're Atta Solomon Vandega and Optimist,
Yes.
Ismail Shafi. Okay, my name is Hiqmat, and my first question is going to be that what exactly is the tax reform laws, the 2025 tax reform laws? What is it about exactly?
All right, so the tax reform law or the tax reform acts are basically 4 laws coming together to address issues around simplifying tax processes in Nigeria, harmonizing the taxes in Nigeria to have it into a single pieces of legislation that somebody can easily pick up and is able to know what is its tax liability. It's also about modernizing the system, bringing issues around technology advances and advancement in technology to ensure that the processes are seamlessly streamlined for the taxpayers. It is also to reduce the burden on taxpayers, low-income earners, basically, to ensure that there is conducive environment for business to strive, because one of the things people look up to even for investment purposes is the tax system for the country. For example, if somebody is coming outside to invest in Nigeria, you first of all have to look at the tax system. Does the tax system encourage business to grow? So that's for some time our tax system have been operating with old laws that bring more burden on the citizens, taxing even the low-income earners. So the president thought it wise, and through his administration, to see that there will be a new tax system which will come through the reform laws to basically harmonize the taxes, reduce the burden and allow businesses to strive, reduce burden on low-income earners, have a progressive tax system where if you earn higher income, you will be charged more taxes, and then most importantly, to close loopholes for evasion. A lot of people are not captured in the tax net, so the system wants to bring in so much people into the tax net.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know it was all of that. I didn't know that it was going to help people that are low-income earners like myself. So I don't know. Okay, I run a podcast, right? One of my podcasts is Sweet and Sour, and people that listen to my podcast are students, and some of the students are entrepreneurs, kind of they have a side hustle. Some people are freelancers, some people are content creators. So, Vandeka, I would like you to answer this for me. What exactly does this mean for them?
All right, so for business owners, basically students and freelancers, one thing this tax reforms is bringing into the system is more of structures. So if you are into business, for instance, freelance, you need to structure yourself. ensure that you have the right structure in place to enjoy. The structures are also needed to enjoy the benefits that or incentives that comes with the reforms. For example, the exemptions for small companies. If a small company is defined under the reforms to be that company that the annual turnover is 100 million and below, and the net assets does not exceed 250 million. So if you register as a freelancer, as a company, for instance, if your annual turnover is not above 100 million, you are exempted from paying the company's income tax. You will not pay development levy of 4%. You are not even going to pay the CGT, which is capital gains tax, that has now increased to like 30%. You're not also going to have obligations to withhold taxes or even value-added tax. So you have benefits to enjoy with the reform if you have the structure as a freelancer. But if you operate as a business, for example, let's say Hiqmat Enterprises, that's a business, and as a business, it therefore means that the law look at you as that business. So the liabilities of the business will be your own liability. So you have to pay the personal income tax if the business threshold, if what you earn as income from your business exceeds 800,000, for example, you have to assess yourself and pay the taxes using the rates that are provided under the law. So it's, like I said, it's about structure. So freelancers need to structure themselves, ensure that they have right financial books of account, have right business structure, register your business if you see growth rates, register your businesses as companies so that you can enjoy the benefits of the exemptions under the reforms laws.
Okay, so over to you, Optimus. Some like students are on scholarship, and this scholarship, some people, let's say for instance, I know a scholarship that is about 500,000 naira, and sometimes they pay this scholarship like twice. So if you run 2 semesters in a year, so that's like you probably have like 1 million in your account if you do not pay the scholarship like from that money that is sent to you. So what does this mean for people that get their scholarship directly?
Okay, so the first thing to do to know about the issue of scholarship for students is the fact that there are some goods and services that we call zero rated under the new tax law, and these zero rated goods includes basic food items, educational materials, which includes the tuition fee under it. So that falls under zero rated. It will be taxed at 0%, which means the student does not have to pay tax, even if it is above the threshold. Yes.
Okay, so how about like this thing where like you see, because I've been seeing a lot of people make posts. I don't know if these people are actually lawyers, but I'm so glad I met you guys. Some people say the description you put on your, like whatever your bank transfers really matters. So if, for example, you put gifts, you keep on putting gifts, then maybe it's just gifts. Okay, so what does that have to do with?
Okay,
like,
so the issue is there is this issue of trust deficit from the social contract that exists between the government and the taxpayers. The taxpayers doesn't trust the government. Likewise, the government doesn't trust the taxpayers. So the issue of description may work, and it may not work. Okay. Because at the end of the day, when you file your return, and the tax authorities, they have the power to reject it, because Nigerians are smart. They may go ahead and
smart or deceitful.
Exactly. So they may go ahead and be writing gift on every transaction. So that may not work.
Okay.
So it is expected that you should be honest when you are filing your
return. Okay. So now, if you have like 2 actionable steps that a person can take with regards to this whole tax thing that has come to stay, what would you say, each of you?
All right. So for freelancers and then entrepreneurs who are students or young minds like me, I think the first thing is that you need to do impact assessments of whatever business you're operating, whatever sector of business you're operating in, to see how these tax reforms actually affects you. And one mistake people make is that they think if you're exempted from taxes, you are exempted from tax obligation. That is not how it works. In fact, it is even when you do carry out this obligation that the tax man will know that you are qualified for the exemption. So it's not a bracket thing. You still need to file your returns as a small company. You still need to show from your financials and statements from your books of account to show. So structure is the second point which I want to mention. Aside from doing impact assessment, knowing how this affects you as a business, and you can engage. If it's not too much to to pay to get a service of a consultant to actually do a tailored assessment of the impact assessment of the reforms as it affects your business. So pay and get that. It's easier to comply, and than to fall into the trap, because the administrative penalties under the new reforms law are actually higher. You don't want to imagine you are exempted from paying taxes. You are now carrying penalties, and you're now going to pay for the penalties, which ordinarily, if you comply, you are not going to pay for. So first, impact assessment. Second, ensure you have the structures in place, and comply. So I think one thing also to sensitize Nigerians about is tax. There's one rule that applies to taxes, which is residency. So the taxman is concerned about where you are residing, not where you are working.
Oh, really?
So if you are staying in
Banana Island.
let's leave Banana Island also. Let's bring it back. So maybe
You're staying in Gwagwalada?
No.
Okay, let's say you are staying in Gwagwalada.
Yes, Gwagwalada. I think Gwagwalada is like...
You're staying in Gwagwalada and you work in Kefi.
Okay.
So ordinarily, people will think it is Kefi that will collect your taxes, Nasarawa State, but it is FCTRS that is your tax authority. So it is where you're residing. So not where you're working. So you come and declare your taxes to the FCTRS, the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, and you pay your taxes there. That's one thing I think I need to clarify. And then another thing is, we tend to think the tax authorities are responsible for utilization of the tax revenue. Their function starts with assessment, collection, and remittance of the taxes. So they only assess people to collect their taxes from them and then remit to the government. It is the duty of the government. It's the government that determines how the taxes are used. So we need to understand this so that we will not be victimizing those who are not
the ones
using the money. So FRS or FCTRS collect taxes, but they are not the one that will determine how much or when they will use the allocation of the money. Is the government. So this, as we're having a discussion around social contract, trust issues with payment of taxes, I think we need to engage the government.
Exactly, because I think that to an extent, why there's also this distrust, or dishonesty, is that like Nigerians will say that they don't see what the government is using their money for. So why? I think it's a different thing when you feel like your money is being used for you. But in a situation where you feel like your money is not being used for you, like you're just like doing charity basically with the money. So I think that's where the distrust comes in, to be honest.
But and I tell people that payment of tax is a constitutional obligation. Section 20 paragraph F says every citizen should declare his income and pay taxes to the appropriate agency. So it is a constitutional obligation to pay the taxes. And does the government have the right to collect taxes? They have the right to collect taxes, but the problem is, how are the tax revenue being used? How are they being utilized? And that is where the government needs to. So as we're making so much noise and advocating for people to comply, the government also needs to look inward and restructure its spending culture. People need to see roads. People need to see constant electricity. These are the things that government should provide. So people are saying we are paying for these things. We pay for solar. We pay for
hospital bills. People buy generators,
which we ordinarily should get from the government. And then although we say tax is not quid pro quo, like it's not a payment for services rendered, but at least people should be able to see these things. So when they see that, it boosts the morale, and then they will comply. So government should also look into their spending culture, look into carrying out, public interest projects. People should see that the monies are used. Clear openness. They need to be open. Transparency and accountability in the use of the funds and the rest. But people are saying they want to collect taxes from us so that they will go and loot. So there's that distrust.
Yes. And then I think there's also the thing of like, I want you to tell me from your own perspective as a lawyer, right? Do you think like this tax reform thing, do you think like the way they are going about it now, do you think it's the right way to go about it? Like just from your personal opinion? Because some people, when you go to social media and you see things, some people say, you're going to see Shege next year because of this tax reform. And my problem with people is that they go to social media, they get information, but they do not verify the validity of that information. Just like the tax ID. A lot of people are posting, come and get your tax ID. And I'm sorry to say, people are charging exorbitant amount of money for something that is free. And they will not go and check that kind of thing. They'll go and check in the Vicky James and what happened to her family life. These ones, they will verify it and tell you the real story. You understand? So I just wanted to understand like what you think about this, like just from your personal opinion, like the way they're going about it. Do you think like, I think these people have good intentions?
All right. So maybe because I had the opportunity to work with the committee that put out these reforms.
Okay.
My understanding of the tax reforms comes from the policy, even from the initiation of the policy itself. And I think the problem we have as Nigerians is we love to react. We're not proactive most times. And this is one committee that I've studied and I've seen that they have actually carried people. There's this inclusivity in the whole thing. There are no less than 36 consultation sessions that they had with different groups, from trade unions to mining to key sectors of the economy. There were always consultations that we had, to the extent that we were appointed, about 36 of us as students, while I was still, so around 2023, we were appointed. And
so you mean this has been in like progress since 2023?
It's been a progress because since when the president came on board in August 2023, he inaugurated this committee.
Okay.
Since then, we've been working in 2024, between January and March. I had the privilege of working as a research assistant and analyst with the committee. And what we were analyzing were stakeholders' submissions from different sectors. We were analyzing, and even as students, we were allowed to be part of the meetings of this. We brought our input into the whole system. But I think Nigerians need to work on our civic educations and how to understand how our society is run in terms of governance, where to channel our criticism to, how to best understand the systems. Like you said, people are feeding on misinformation.
Yes.
People prefer to go and listen to content creators who have now transitioned into self-acclaimed tax consultants today. And everywhere I have opportunity to speak, I advise people that follow your tax authorities. The Nigerian Revenue Service have dedicated accounts on all the major social media platforms.
Even on LinkedIn, that's like amazing. I saw them.
They've started countdown to 2026, and each day they post new things about the reforms. You can learn from them. And then the chairman of the committee that brought this reform, Mr. Taiwo.
Mr. Taiwo, yes.
He go to his platform on X, on LinkedIn. You have a lot of information there for you to read. And then the committee have a website, fiscalreforms.ng.
Yes.
That's the website. If you go on the website, click on resources.
Yes.
You can access the 4 laws that they have passed. You can access FAQs on certain issues that you have problem with. There are a lot of materials that have been uploaded. Even the personal income tax, how to calculate it. There's a calculator on this website.
Wow.
You can just input your annual gross income, you input your deductions, what you have paid. It will calculate your taxes that you're liable to. You go and then make your payment. But people are not listening to this information. I think they are more concerned about how to not pay taxes.
Yes, to be honest.
So that's where the problem is. So if you are organizing a webinar or a program on this title with tax escape, you will receive so much.
You were saying something about someone selling a tax escape.
Yes, there's a guy who have produced a course. He's selling it 40,000 naira. Wow. It is called tax escape.
And Nigerians
are buying it. The thing, the one thing that we need to know about these reforms is that, like I mentioned before, they want to block loopholes because there are a lot of evasion. There's so many tax evasion in the current system. So they want to block the loopholes. So if you think you want to hide, I think it's better for you to rethink. The best thing I advise people to do is utilize the incentives and the exemptions that you have under the law. there are a lot of exemptions. For example, the capital gains tax that applies on selling of properties, asset like your digital asset, if you say cryptocurrency, for example, and the rest. The law says if you are disposing, if you are selling that in a 12 consecutive month, that is in a year, and what you are selling is 150 million naira and below, and the gain you make from the sales is 10 million and below, you are exempted from paying taxes.
Wow.
So how many Nigerians sell up to that amount? So you turn out that about 95% of Nigerians may not even pay that
tax. Yes.
But people are crying that they are increasing again because they have failed to study and see what the reforms are about.
Okay, but again, I would like to ask, like, does this affect like the prices of things now?
Now, I think we were talking today, and I like my fear. Basically, about three sectors or three set of persons or groups. First is the banking or the financing sector. Now, the law says that those who carry out business activity, financial services like the banking and so they should ensure that every taxable person have a tax ID before they transact with. And you're going to find out that, like what works in Nigeria, even if you are not a taxable person, they will now be saying you must bring this, must bring this. So that will, to some extent,
Make life a little difficult.
make it a bit difficult. And the reforms, all of us are trying to unpack the reforms. Even I was at FRS office the other day, I saw some of the staffs and they were like, even us administering this, we are understanding the reforms. So the first years of implementation may bring problems because some people may not really understand how these reforms now work. For example, those who have the obligation to deduct taxes before they pay salaries. Somebody was talking about 15% flat rate. That's not how it works. It is not a flat rate. You have to calculate this income and see where the person falls under the bracket before you do. So there's no bracket. So people are not understanding how the reforms really are. So that if they fail to understand how the reforms are and where they are going to, there will be problem, definitely. People will add prices, which ideally there shouldn't be increment in price because the essential goods and services, the law have removed them from even tax and VAT exemption to zero rated. What this means is that if you incur input VAT on it, you can go apply to the government and get a refund for it. So you don't have any reason to increase your prices. Food, electricity, transportation, education, all zero rated. If you operate a school now, if you register, you're not going to pay taxes on your school. But of course, maybe you're buying of the materials they use in school, you have incurred input VAT. They say make application to the tax authorities and you get your VAT refund. As a lawyer, I'm anticipating there's going to be a lot of cases. People will go to court.
Oh my God.
And I'm preparing to go to court.
Oh
too.
my God, please, just in case, I don't want to go to court, but I'm just saying I can call you, right?
People will go to court because there's even a provision of the law that says that if you're having a dispute with the tax authority on the taxes you are going to pay, you must deposit about 20% of your taxes before you go to court. Yes. And people are saying that is against your constitutional right to appeal. Lawyers will go to court, and I trust my guys. Are the tax reform perfect legislation? No, but they are at least they are closer to, and they want to modernize the system. Definitely, there are going to be challenges, and we're anticipating those challenges. Sure. But the good thing is, like one of my guys will say, where human beings are, there must be problem. The challenge is how do we get out of that? So
on a scale of 1 to 10, you think that the reform laws is like okay? What scale will you put?
Okay, on this.
Sorry, before we go to that question, okay. I would like to add something on what he just said.
Okay.
Nigerians naturally we don't like to go to court, so there is this innovation under the new tax reform. There is establishment of the tax ombud, which is an independent and non-judicial body to resolve disputes between the taxpayers and the government tax officials. So when you have an issue with the tax officials, you just go and file your complaint to the tax ombud. And on the 4th of November, that was last month, the first tax ombudsman was appointed And
Tax ombud.
yes,
Can we spell that? What's the O N?
OMBUDSMAN. That's tax ombudsman.
Okay.
And Mr.
Some people are having issue with that. They say if you say ombudsman, you're not gender sensitive.
Yes, exactly.
What happened to ombudswoman?
Really?
So that's
There's
why.
no tax ombudsman, it's just tax ombudsman. So that is the
No
body
gender
that
equality
Please,
people,
resolves
huh?
please,
disputes now.
please.
So if you don't want to go to court, you go to channel your complaint to tax ombud. They will resolve your complaint, but they don't have the power to pass judgment or ruling on your case. You can still go to court after tax ombud resolution. So that's what I want to.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think? Like, where would you put like? What do you think the 10 meaning that it's a very good thing that the government is doing, 5 meaning that it's just like average, 1 meaning that like you don't think it's a good idea. So where will you put what this tax reform law?
Okay, so
you can go.
Did I go?
okay. But so for me, I feel like this is a welcome development. I can give it 8%.
That's 8 over 10.
Yes, 8%.
That's a pass, I guess.
Because the tax reform promises to formalize the economy. The largest part of the economy is informal, and they don't normally pay tax. But with this reform, this informal sector is going to be brought into the formal economy. So with that, there will be more tax collection and revenue generation, and that will boost our economy.
Okay.
Yes.
Wendeka, what do you think?
I think 8 is fine, right?
Okay, 8.
Because the reforms I get toward, if you look at it from an objective part, it's people-centered, because there are a lot of exemptions for low-income earners. For example, there's a provision of the Act, the Nigerian Tax Act, that says if you earn minimum wage, you're exempted from paying tax. So if tomorrow...
A minimum wage is...
70K.
Okay.
So 70K times 3, that's 840K. So even with 840K, you're exempted from paying your taxes. Then small companies, largely, what we have under the current regime, under the current system that we first out by 1st of January, is that small companies are those that annual turnover is 25 million.
So a small company is 25 million annually.
And then this reform is saying 100 million.
Wow.
As a small company, that's what it's defining. It is also
so it gives like a very large
to give them breathing space for them to grow.
Yeah.
And then apart from the company's income tax under the current regime is 30%. There are discussions to reduce it to 25% with this reform. There were, after paying the 30%, you also have to pay Naseni levy. You pay this third fund. Companies contribute. There's what we call NIDA. NIDA levy. There's police levy. There are about 5 different other small taxes that company will pay. All of them have been subsumed into 4% development levy.
Wow.
So if you look at it, it's people-centered to some extent. Look at the capital gains tax. And the reason why the capital gains tax has moved from 10% flat rate to 30% if you're a company, and then if you're an individual, it's use the graduated tax rate of the personal income tax rate, is because people were using the capital gains tax to do transactions that make them evade payment of taxes. So the law say no, let's bring it into that flat rate. And like I mentioned, if you look at the threshold, a lot of people will not even pay the capital gains tax because of the threshold. And they even say if you sell your shares, for example, and you reinvest that money into a Nigerian share, you are not going to pay tax on that.
Wow.
So these are the examples of the reforms that make them give that rating of 8% and say that it's more of people-centered. So the Nigerian need to just sit down
and
understand the reforms, why they are so. Contrary to what people think, and I think I posted it the other day on time, you know that President Tinubu exempt the first orders or first 4 orders that he signed into law as a president were to relax about 4 taxes. It was to stop the execution of 4 taxes. He stopped tax. There was going to be a tax on telecommunication. There's going to be a tax on this cybersecurity levy.
Yes.
There was going to be a tax on single use of plastic, importation of some cars. He relaxed those taxes. So we can criticize the government, but when we do the criticism, let's do it constructively as Nigerians. Let's try to understand the work. People don't pay attention to understand what really are the rationale behind the reforms. They feed on what is online and the influence of content creators, and it's not doing very hard. Do you know that the committee is now training over 11,000 Nigerian professionals?
I think I saw the post.
I'm part of this thing. We started last Friday or so, which we continue on Monday. It's going to be in 3 batches. That's the effort they are making on. The committee is quite inclusive in what they are doing. So Nigeria just need to sit down and pay attention and then understand what these reforms have for them. It's not about fear, and there are a lot of misinformation. We just need to fight that. And I hope when we get to 2026, it's not going to be a smooth ride, I know, but subsequently we enjoy the fruits of the reforms.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was really nice having you guys. Thank you so much for coming. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would want you to subscribe from whatever platform you're listening. You can follow us on Instagram at sweetandsournet. And until next time, sweetie, bye.